U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and other top officials briefed congressional leaders on the U.S. military operation that resulted in the capture of Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro over the weekend. According to reports, another briefing for all members of the Senate has been scheduled for tomorrow morning ahead of a vote later this week on a war powers resolution that would prohibit U.S. military action in Venezuela without approval from Congress. So how might this all unfold in the days ahead? Joining me now to discuss this, U.S. Senator Mike Rounds of South Dakota, who serves on several Senate committees, including the Armed Services Committee and the Select Committee on Intelligence. Senator Rounds, welcome back to Washington Watch. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to visit with you this afternoon.
Well, I'd be interested to know if what you heard in the briefing, and I know some of it may be classified, but anything that was surprising to you that was not reported in the press previously?
We haven't received our briefing yet. We've got 3 of them scheduled now. The one that was for yesterday was for what we call the Gang of 8, which is basically Senate leadership. We have an all-members meeting tomorrow morning, and that's at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And then after that, we also have an Armed Services Committee meeting, which will be a classified discussion as well. And then finally, over the next week or so, we'll be having a Senate Intelligence Committee meeting as well, with the same issues at hand, talking specifically about issues surrounding, first of all, the armed services, and then the intelligence community's role in the operations that occurred in and around Venezuela as well. So I don't have a lot of classified knowledge on this particular matter yet. And as you know, even if I did have it right now, we couldn't talk about it. But I can tell you that the president made the right choice when, after literally years, he decided that it was time to bring Mr. Maduro into custody. This is appropriate. He had, we've had a long-standing demand that if anybody could bring him to justice, that there was a payment, there was a reward for his capture. And in this particular case, I think the president made the right move by going in and bringing him out. And, I can just tell you, this operation that was put together by our Department of Defense, the Department of War, and our intelligence community could not have been accomplished by any other nation on the face of the earth. It's just one of those things that we should be very grateful to the good Lord that our young men and women in uniform, those who participated in this, came away safely. And we should be thankful that, the president made the right choice in this case and brought this person to justice.
Let's talk, Senator, a little bit about the activities that Maduro was involved in. I mean, this was really a criminal syndicate that he was running from the vantage point of a quasi-state leader. Talk about some of the things he was involved in that justified the United States taking the actions that it did.
Laundering money, laundering receipts from drug operations. They were facilitating the transfer of drugs from other countries through Venezuela, then back out again, back into the United States, coordinating with the actual people who were actually developing the drugs in the first place, setting up the financial facilities so that they could collect the dollars, bringing it back through Venezuela, coordinating with his own armed services to protect some of these entities basically on their travels and so forth.
So this wasn't
this guy
passive.
is not a good person at all. I mean, this has been going on literally for a decade. It was even before he was actually the leader there. During the time in which he was part of their legislative body, he was involved in it. So this has been an ongoing process, and the conspiracy goes back years.
So, Senator, we see in many countries where you have government officials that just turned a blind eye, that just either because the infrastructure is weak or they just really don't care, they just allow these things to happen. That was not the case here. It says he's personally involved. He was running a criminal syndicate as the...
That is correct. That is correct. There's a big difference between organizations where you have strong drug cartels and the leadership is simply afraid of them and they don't know what to do about it. That's not the case here. Maduro was one of the organizers of it. He facilitated it. He cooperated in it. He received funding because of it. And it's been an ongoing program. It's been in existence and operational literally for a decade. And remember, this isn't something that President Trump just decided to do on his own. This is one that literally Democrats criticized him for not going after Maduro early in his first term. And then, we had a bounty out on him. The Biden administration recognized that this was a bad guy. And so this isn't something that's political in nature. This is a case of where it was high time that an individual who had, the ability to really cause great harm in our country, it was time to take him out. And look, there are thousands of Americans that are dead because of what this guy did and facilitated and made money on. And besides that, on a bigger scale, this is the guy that's bringing in influences from China and from Iran. If you take a look at the people that are protesting the fact that we took this guy out of power and brought him to the United States to face justice, these are some of the adversaries that we contend with around the world.
Right.
This was their place in the Western Hemisphere that they were headquartering in.
Well,
it's high time that we send a message. The Monroe Doctrine is still effective. Right. President Trump responded accordingly. And with our young men and women that wear the uniform of this country, achieved an effective one-shot mission that took care of the problem. So once again, congratulations to the administration for having the guts to go in and to do it. But second of all, for the young men and women that wear our uniform and the job that they did that nobody else in the world could accomplish.
Senator, 30 seconds left. It wasn't a political decision, but it's been made political by some of your Democratic colleagues who now are pushing for a war powers resolution. That's going to come up later this week. What happens?
Nothing. The war powers resolution, even if there are some Republicans who support it, there may be a few, but even if it does, it will go nowhere because it would require House approval. This is not going to happen. It is a political event to say once again, and some of my Democrat colleagues might very well agree that something had to be done. But what they're saying is that there should have been prior notification to Congress and so forth. I don't know how we could have had a prior notification in this particular case.
All right, we've got to leave it there, Senator.